I said this wedding was the most difficult of the weekend for me, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this wedding was 6 hours. This wedding ahead of time, they added 2 hours. So in New Jersey, where I'm from, right, and typically in the United States, right, the average wedding is 5.5 hours if ceremony's on location. You got a half-hour ceremony, you got an hour cocktail hour, and you have a 4-hour reception. That's the standard thing. Some people add an extra hour, adding 2. I don't remember the last time that happened to me, having a 6-hour reception. Now, I'm sure there's there's a lot of people, if you're not from the States, you guys do shit differently, especially across the pond like Europe and, Russia. I'm sure there's like a Russian dude that's going to watch this. Like, in Mother Russia, we party for 16 hours straight, okay? Mother Russia, 16 hours every wedding. You Americans, you're pussies over there. I get it, all right? I get it. Some of you guys just like literally just get wasted and just bounce to trance for hours. I don't know how you guys. I would love to go to a wedding like in another country. Like I would love to experience that shit because like I see these comments and these stories you guys tell me, it's unreal. But anyway, I'm used to a 4-hour reception. Okay, that's kind of like what I got down. When you add the extra 2, it gets complicated. All right, it's not an easy thing. So there's a couple factors in this, and I want to go over and I want to give you guys some tips in case you ever come across this. Because it can definitely be challenging, especially if you're not prepared for it. So I'm going to give you long dance set tips here. Now, the first thing you got to do is you got to assess the situation. Okay? What are you in for? Assess the entire situation. So these are the factors I was looking at. Number one, what's the formality? What do the formalities look like? Do we have a lot of them, right? Am I doing bouquet garter? Am I doing cake? Am I doing an anniversary dance? Are we doing all the regular stuff? Is there a lot of speeches? What's the dinner look like? Is there multiple courses, right? I'm just looking to see, like, how long am I going to have to dance these people, This all plays factors. And this event, this wedding in particular, everything, I don't want to say it worked against me, but everything was set up so I would have the longest dance set of all time, right? That's just the way it was set up. No formalities. Cake cutting was real quick. I think I announced it, right? I think I announced it. Yeah. I announced cake cutting, but that was it. No bouquet garter, no other formalities. Everything was quick, like toasts and parent dance, all that was done quick. There's only 2 courses, salad and main course, and that was it. It was just everything kind of was up front. We did dinner, and then we started dancing. The second thing I assessed is the amount of people, all right? How many people are there? Is it 100-something? Is it 200-something? Is it 300-something? Is there a lot of people? Is there an average amount of people? Or is there only like less than 100? Is there a little crowd, right? That makes a huge, huge difference because of flow. And in this situation, I had about 150 people. So it's a solid crowd, but not a huge, huge crowd. And now, because I know I don't have such a huge, huge crowd, I had to look at it a different way. If you have 250, 300 people at a wedding, okay? And you have to do a straight 4-hour dance set, straight through. There's nothing else to do other than dance them. You handle it differently because there's so many people, you can have a flow, right? You can pretty much, if there's 250 people at a wedding, you can pretty much always have at least 30 people dancing. Because you got to understand, no one's going to dance for 4 hours straight. No one's going to dance for an hour straight. Most people dance for 20, 30 minutes, which is a pretty long time to be rocking that 2-step and whatever, right? 20, 30 minutes, then you're going to go take a piss, then you're going to go get a drink, then you're going to step outside, then you're going to check your phone, whatever, right? There's always a flow in a dance floor. People are coming and going. So the amount of people total affect that flow. If you have 250, 300 people, you can always keep that 30, 40 people on the dance floor because there's so many people that people are coming on while people are leaving, and you just have a constant flow. If you get to under 200, 150, 125, if you factor in who's going to leave, the older people and all that stuff, and who you have left afterwards, sometimes you're not going to have that flow. There's not going to be enough people. So like people will leave, right? They'll dance for a little bit, then they'll leave and go do their thing. And then you're going to be left with a dance floor with maybe 5, 10 people. And then those 5, 10 people feel awkward and could leave as well. And then your dance floor can be cleared. If you understand what I'm saying, right? So this is a huge factor. And then the other thing I failed to mention is the bar and where the bar is at too. If the bar is inside the room, I believe you handle it way, way different, in my opinion, than if the bar's outside the room. Because if the bar's inside the room, everyone's generally going to stay inside the room. So I play it that way. No matter what, everyone's listening to my music. Whereas in my situation for this wedding, the bar was outside of the room, like kind of pretty far away because it was a big room. It was adjacent, but like it was all the way over there. You know what I mean? So once they went over there, they were kind of in their own bubble. They couldn't really hear what I was doing, you know, and there was no way for me to run a speaker 100 feet away. You know, it was that sort of thing. So that all plays into account, right? And that all plays into my decision, or not decision, but really just like how I want to handle it, which it's one or two ways when it comes to this stuff, right? When you have a long dance set, you're either going to do 100% bangers and you're going to go straight through. That's it, okay? You got to be ready, and I'm just going to drop banger, banger, banger. I'm literally going to grind out a 4-hour dance set, or I'm going to ride a wave. And what I mean by that is riding a wave is anticipating your dance floor dwindling and then building back up, and then dwindling and building back up. And the two main factors of that, like I said, is the amount of people there and where the bar is. And honestly, too, if there's like an outside thing, if you're doing an outside wedding, or if there's any outside activities, cornhole, you know, beer pong somewhere, wherever, you know, any other distractions that are outside of the ballroom, you know, even a photo booth outside of the ballroom, anything outside, distractions that can take your guests away, okay? Those are all factors. So when I assessed the whole situation, I looked at everything. I knew for a fact that I would have to ride a wave here. I knew for a fact that I couldn't just go hard for 4 straight hours because it was going to be impossible to keep every single person, to keep the dance floor packed for 4 hours straight. I knew it was impossible. I had like 140-something people. Bar was outside. There was doors that went outside too, so people can go outside and smoke weed or whatever, or cigarettes or whatever they did. They were definitely smoking weed. I smelled so much pot at this wedding. You know, so and those factors were kind of, you know, working against me a little bit, but it's not really against you. It's how you handle it, okay? So hear me out. So I knew I had to ride a wave. Riding a wave means you have to know when the people are getting tired. You have to watch them very, very closely, right? I'm dropping bangers. So I start dancing them. I'm dropping stuff. The dance floor's packed. Everything's great, right? Everything's going well. I'm dancing them. 30 minutes, 40 minutes goes by, right? And I see that, like, then I drop a banger and I see that I don't get the reaction that I almost was 99% sure I was going to get from this crowd. Just a little less. I'm like, okay, they're getting tired. You can tell, okay? You could just tell that they're starting to just get tired. And then you see them starting to dwindle a little bit. And I'm still dropping. It's great. It's not me, right? Because I know, because I've already been playing for them a while, right? I pretty much know, right? You could just tell they're just getting tired. You could tell it's the same faces for a while. They've been dancing a long time. So, over in here too, so he's here. So, basically, you have to know when to bring it down and ride that wave. You don't want to get caught with nobody on the dance floor and you still dropping bangers. Number one, it just looks like you're trying too hard, right? It just looks bad. It's just like, oh, easy guy, all right? There's nobody there. You just cleared the dance floor or whatever, you know, whatever people think. But at the same time, you're also burning good music, you know? And you want to always, for me, like when I DJ, I try and match the environment. You know, I always want my music. I'm playing the soundtrack for the event. People say all the time, you're playing the soundtrack. I want the music to match the wedding, the environment, what's happening. Just like a movie, you know, when you, I guess, edit a movie and make a movie, produce a movie, direct a movie, you're going to want the music to match the scenes, you know, to evoke emotion, to evoke this or whatever. Same thing at a wedding for me. I want it to match exactly. So you got to ride the wave. So I'm going to give you guys some examples here, okay? And of course, this goes without saying, you got to prep your ass off. You have to be prepared no matter what the situation is. When you have long sets like this, anybody you have to be prepared, but like especially long sets, you have to have super deep crates. You have to have a lot of music to play, a lot of options. You cannot run out of music, okay? This wedding in particular, I ended up dancing for over 4 hours straight. 4 hours straight from the time the last formality went until the end of the wedding. It was over. It was 4 hours and like 18 minutes or something straight, just me mixing, nothing else to do. That was it. Okay, so you got to be prepped. If you need help with crates or whatever, I do have links in the description for crates or whatever, but just definitely be prepped. But this is what I did. So this is the first wave, okay? I'm going to give you like my playlist here. So I was coming off about 45. We danced before dinner for like 20, 30 minutes or whatever. Then we did dinner and everything. Then after dinner, I did my dance set. I was coming off like a 30, 40-minute dance set. And then you could see I played like Let's Get It Started, Black Eyed Peas. Then I went into Everybody. That's that wordplay mix I do that Club Killer stole from me. Fuckers, right? So I did that. Holla Back Girl, Wannabe was on the Bride's playlist, right? Then at that point, while I was playing Holla Back Girl, I noticed it was starting to dwindle. That's when I noticed. I was like, okay, starting to lose them. We're about to hit the first dip, right? About to hit the first wave. I anticipated this. So then I'm like, all right, well, I'm already in Holla Back Girl. Let me bust out this other white girl song that was on her list, Wannabe, while I'm here. And then see what happens, right? Kept dwindling. I'm like, okay, all right, we're dwindling. I got to bring it down. I had a request for some 80s new wave. So then I played the Don't You Want Me, right? So a couple old people came on for that, right? And then I brought it down. I played Thong Song into Stacy's Mom, right? Which like I would play during a peak hour set, but like this wasn't my plan at the time. You know what I mean? So I brought it down, right? So people were kind of still bopping, singing along, whatever. Some people went to the bar. Some people went outside, everything. I might have maybe 5 people on the dance floor at this point. Like it dwindled. Then I decided to go a little older. I went hot, see if I can get some of these old people up because I saw some of the old people sat down. They got tired early. Then I went into Fireball. Ain't No Mountain High Enough. I can't help myself, right? They're singing along, but it didn't like, I wasn't able to like rebuild the dance floor with old people, right? They were just singing along. There's a couple came out, but it wasn't crazy. So then I decided to slow it down and I brought it to Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. And then after that, instead of dropping like a banger, right, that you would normally start your dance floor with, I started with Forever by Chris Brown because there wasn't a lot of people there. So I'm not going to drop something crazy. All right, let's go. You know, shots, whatever. I'm not going to go ham, okay? Forever by Chris Brown. It's a nice little jam. If you've watched The Office, people do the thing, The Office, whatever. Played that. Had a couple people scraggle on from the bar. Then Emotions, another in-between song. Just Fine, OMG, The Way You Move, right? These are all in-between songs. Disturbia. By the time I got to Disturbia, people were coming back. People already pissed. People got their drinks. People were moving back. People were bopping and grooving. So then I decided to go for it again. I went for Starships. Starships is a solid, if you don't play that, I think it's a solid song that works with dance. It's not my favorite song in the whole world, but like it usually works if you have a younger crowd. They sing along and, you know, pump their fists and all that sort of thing, at least in my area. So then I went to Starships and then I went back on a regular banger set. Went back to the set. So that was like my little lull. That's my lull period. That's me riding the wave there, okay? Not forcing it anything. This is also something similar that I do during dessert. If you have a big dessert room, you cut the cake and they open up a big Viennese hour. I talked about this before on my show, or any type of big dessert spread. You're going to lose people for dessert. If you don't have enough people to keep the dance floor going during dessert, you want to do a lull, you know? You want to just play banging stuff, play good stuff that you can still bop around to, but you're not like trying. You're not just, you know, forcing it so hard to get people to dance, right? Then I had a second lull. So there's 2 lulls. There's 2 times where I, you know, essentially my dance floor cleared during this 4 hours. The second lull was this. So I was ending hip hop. I went into some rock, My Own Worst Enemy lit. Then I went into Chubb. I think before that I played the 3 Days Grace song, wherever the hell it's called, 3 Doors Down. I want Semi-Charmed Life, right? Into lit. Then I went into Chumbawamba. I Get Knocked Down, right? And at the I Get Knocked Down, people started looking tired. Even during lit, people weren't jumping like they used to. You know what I mean? So they're starting to get tired. I'm like, all right, I'm losing them again. So I decided to hit I Will Survive. Same thing. The old people had sat down sooner than the younger people because they got tired first. They got tired after 20 minutes. The young people got tired after 40, right? So I decided to drop I Will Survive. Young people love I Will Survive. And don't even dare tell me it's a breakup song. I get it, okay? Just people like singing along regardless. Kiss my ass. I dropped I Will Survive, got a couple old people to come up. Some young people stayed and sang along or whatever. But it dwindled, and that was it. I'm like, okay, so we're dwindled. I went from I Will Survive, Closer by Neo. It was on the Bride and Groom's playlist, right? So I played that. Then Overnight Celebrity, Buy You a Drink. Decided to go more the R&B route, the more like my bar closing folder. If I'm doing like a club or a bar, how I would close a bar or club if I'm trying to get every guy in there laid, right? Every guy, girl, whoever in there laid. slow R&B, everything, right? Bedrock, Dilemma. Started in that because they were drunk. I figured this would work because at this point they're pretty fucking drunk. I could tell they've been pounding it. They're starting to sway a little bit. So I went into that stuff. It was working. People were kind of singing along. People start coming back from the bar. Then I played Live Your Life, right? People started trickling back, kind of singing, but definitely not a banger yet. It was almost like it was ending, right? It was just people were kind of spread out and kind of bopping, but nobody was like on the dance floor. But then as people got closer and closer and closer, I brought it up with not like main banger songs, but like, stuff that would make drunk people dance. London Bridge, great track from back in the day. Independent, Rude Boy. And then I hit him with I Want It That Way. Shout out to Scooter on his edit. He's got a perfect edit. I'm sure it's on DMS or something where it skips it's all the best parts of I Want It That Way with the intro and everything. So you can play that during like a dance set. I think Digital Dave sent it to me. But then I went to that, and that was like the kill because I figured they were wasted. So I hit that, and then they all rushed the dance floor, started singing I Want It That Way. And then I'm like, all right. And then I went Too Close by Next, right? To kind of keep that whole groove. Then I went to I'm a B, and I went in after that. So I'm a B. I used shout out to Sid. I used I'm a B to basically go from 99 up to the 128s, and then I hit him hard with like some Latin shit because they definitely want some Latin shit. So I hit the papas and the Scooby Doo pop pop, y la cosa suena, right? All that shit. Hit him with that. And that's how I rode the wave. And then we went to the end of the night, and then everything was grand, and we ended with a bang, and life was good. So the moral of the story, okay, I guess I spent a lot of time on this, but it's important. It really is, DJs. You got to know when to ride the wave. You don't want to force it because you'll fail. You're going to be failing. They're going to leave no matter what. You have to understand the psychology of it. You have to be able to put yourself in their shoes. Your dance floor is going to clear at some points like at some points in some weddings, like especially if there's super long dance sets with not a lot of people, your dance floor will clear. Like the bar's outside the room. There's factors you can't control, so you just have to play it the right way. And I did this, and I was able to build it back up, and then we raged for the last 40 minutes, 50 minutes, all the way to the end, to the last song. Last song, the dance floor was completely packed. Everybody singing at the top of their lungs. Ended with the bang. Bride and groom were thrilled, and everything was great. So, just this is just my formula for this whole thing. I don't know. I thought it would be useful to kind of like explain it all to you guys. It was definitely crazy, though. Definitely crazy. I was definitely still praying to the DJ gods just in case, just in case.